Incoming transmission.
Hey everybody, this is Ed Pogue. It's My Figure Universe for boosting the signal. And this week, my guest is the very talented stylist and all-around internet personality, Anna Rozay. Hello, how are you today?
Hello. I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I'm
And it's
very
so nice to
excited to have
finally
you.
meet you, like
Yes.
face to face, sort of.
Yeah, well, I mean, and if we were, look at it this way, if we were on two different starships and we had flown up to
We're on the
each
view
other.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's all it is, I'm the Romulan over here saying hello, but
Okay.
it's probably not good I chose Romulans, but all
Right.
right.
I'm like, we're getting off on the wrong foot.
It's like my bad. Anyway, no, and for anybody that's watching this now, we've been talking beforehand about art and everything else, and I absolutely love a lot of the art pieces that you have shown me today, and I really would love to show them on screen. So what I'm
Yeah.
planning on doing is, as we are talking, some of the things that you have shown me, I'm going to go back retroactively. I'm going to find these pieces and I want to put them on screen because they are amazing pieces of art that you have shared with me, and I
No, thank
appreciate that.
you. I'm
I see.
such a nerd for like just wall stuff. Like put it on the wall, fill up the wall. This is like my little corner of our shared office. I share this office with my boyfriend, so I just wanted to make it like the Star Trek bedroom I never had, you know?
Well, yeah, I get that, and I have a lot of things myself
Yeah,
that
you got me beat. You got me
well,
beat.
well, this is in flux. Like
Okay.
very literally, this is in flux. Like the Funko is fine. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I'm gonna move it to a new area. I'm trying
Okay.
to do the Star Trek behind me, and I want to move more Star Trek over. And I mean,
Have it
there's
all Star Trek
yeah,
seamless.
yeah, yeah. I bought a really nice backdrop, and I was like, the backdrop's fine, but
Yeah.
I want to go
It
something
doesn't have as much character as
right.
like everybody, like us as nerds, we love the toys, the collectibles, and we love seeing that stuff because it's like, what do you have? Let me see what you got, you know?
Exactly. What I really like is when I'll get people messaging and say, okay, so I was pausing and zooming in and it's like, and I see you have this, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty, but
But like that's the fun part about being in this franchise and being in this community is you get to you like somebody will have this piece that like no one else has and you're just like
yeah.
how do you have that
Oh
like
no,
right now my oh go ahead
no, I'm agreeing with you 100%. You're right.
yeah
There's so many beautiful things that are out there, and sometimes someone has something that's so rare, you know?
yeah one of my rare items that I came into possession thanks to a friend, their name is Bear. They found a DS9 script and they were on their way to Chicago to visit me, and they just surprised me with it. And now I have a script from 1993, the episode Playing God, about the one about Jadzia, where I think it's the one where she's training the initiate. Yes. And now I just have a script. I think I can reach it. It's like right here. Hold on.
Yeah, and I definitely love Deep Space Nine. Anybody that knows me knows I love DS9. I'm a big DS9 fan, so I'm really looking. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I recently
1993 is crazy.
I recently found out, I guess, like when it comes to scripts, like
Mhm.
they're DS9 and Next Generation, not that they're easy to find, but they are easier to find than like Voyager.
I was, did we watch the same video?
We must have watched the same video.
Because they were saying how they just stopped preserving things
Yeah.
when Voyager came around. I was like, huh, I wonder why. Like they just like they were like, this is our third one. We don't care. Like it's in the bag. We got this. And it's
Yeah.
funny how maybe that was their thinking. And they were so like go, go, go that nobody was, thinking about the future.
It's sad. I mean, if you think about it, like this has been the 30th anniversary of Voyager, and for the most part, there hasn't been much.
A
I mean,
lot of rollout, yeah, for
yeah.
like to celebrate that. And
I
what
mean,
is it? Is it the 60th of the entire franchise this
yeah,
upcoming
next
year?
year. Yeah, in
Next year.
2026. 2026. By the time
2026.
people are watching this year.
It
Yeah.
will be in the we'll be in the thick of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing. I mean, I stopped and I did the math one day. I was like, okay, so like Star Trek was only 11 years old by the time I was born. I'm like,
Mm.
man, I'm old. It's like I don't like that. But
But you're young, you're 11 years younger than it.
yeah, 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 yeah. I was like, take that old show,
Yeah. I
but
mean, I
no,
feel old when I'm, because like on TikTok, that's where I feel like I interact the most with the community. And a lot of everybody in the community that I'm kind of like privy to is much younger, like a good 5 to 10 years younger than me, sometimes more. And I'm like, there, a lot of them are just discovering it for the first time. So then I have that feeling of like, damn, I'm the old one in the room, you know? So it's interesting to, but it's a good thing because it's like they're experiencing it for the first time, and you get to like when they make their videos and things like that, you see the excitement that they have for it and like the shock because they're like, I didn't know it was like this. You know, a lot of people have this preconceived notion of Star Trek, and then when
yeah.
they watch it, they are like blown away by some of the topics and plots that are in it. And it's just fun to see people go through that realization
It
online.
it is nice, and I mean, let me ask you, like you say a lot of them are younger. Does it? I don't know about you, but it does my heart good to see that there are
Yeah,
people discovering
it's
it.
going, it
Yeah,
continues. Yeah,
yeah.
it makes me feel like, okay, because everything is so uncertain right now. So maybe Star Trek will be the one thing that we have to hold on to. Let's hope. I don't know about that merger. We'll see what happens. But
The thing about the merger is this. And I've had a lot of people say the same thing, and I have the same concerns. But I look at the 1970s. I look at the
mhm,
70s as a good example of a time period when there was for the most part nothing really new. We had the animated series, okay. We had the movie, okay. But it was a dark period of nothingness, but the fans kept it alive. Now, to
mhm,
take that in the same grain, if this is a let's go hypothetically, and this is a dark period where we get a version of Star Trek that does not fit to the ideals that we all love.
right.
Should we as a community keep the Star Trek we love alive, or does that count as gatekeeping?
I feel like if say for instance worse comes to worse and they turn it into something that we don't recognize, I think we still have what has come before. We still have the old shows, the old movies, and we can celebrate those and enjoy those as a separate thing. Like, say, for instance, they just go so far to the right with it, and or like what happened after Enterprise, it just goes dark.
Yeah.
Um, when that happened, people kept watching the movies, kept community alive within the fandom and things like that. And I think we'll continue to do that, and it'll continue to thrive in the way that we remember it. And maybe within the next 5 years after that dark period, it'll come back and be something that we recognize and something that we can love again. But that hasn't happened yet, so let's hope against hope that it doesn't.
And I guess the moral of the story is keep an optimistic view no matter
Yeah,
what.
let's try. It's I know it's hard, but nothing concrete I feel like has happened to lead us down a thought process of thinking that's what's going to happen. I mean, the writing is on the wall that it could, when you look to who is owning things now, but until I see them like showing a trailer of something new where it's just like I unrecognizable, then I'll be out. But until then, I'm gonna, I'm gonna enjoy it for what
Yeah.
comes next. I'm excited for Academy. I think that's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be if they're allowing that show to go forward, we'll see if they curtail it after season one or season two. I think it's greenlit for 2 seasons. So
Yeah,
we'll
well
see.
I think they've already finished the second season even.
Yeah. So we'll see how they treat that show, how much they push it, um, if they fuss with it or change it or, fuck with
Yeah.
it. but we'll see. I think that show, knowing who it's coming from, the creators of Discovery and things like that, and that's one of the most progressive Star Treks we've gotten in a long time.
Indeed.
Um, I think if that is what they're pushing, and I think we can stay hopeful, especially if it does well. I think what I've seen about that show is not, it's been a hit or miss. Like, everybody jumps to conclusions based off of a trailer, which is kind of sad these days. And a lot of people have, very negative feelings about it because of its attachment to Discovery. And I'm like, it's its own entity. Yes, it's in that same time frame and period, but judge the show when it comes out, not prejudge it based on its affiliations. Strange New Worlds was a spin off of Discovery, and it was able to stand on its own. So like, let's give some breath to this show. Let it come out. If it sucks, it sucks, but let it be its own thing. Judge it on its own merit. You know, I think from what I've seen in the trailers that it's going to be amazing. You have Paul Giamatti, you have Holly Hunter, you have this beautiful new cast. They all
Robert
seem like
Picardo.
you have Robert Picardo, right? You have everything to make this show successful. And the only thing I think that will truly make it unsuccessful is if the fans just shun it, kind of like what happened with another franchise like the Acolyte. It was just shunned right out the gate.
That one didn't deserve it though.
I
I
I,
love
I
the
had
Acolyte.
I loved it too, and I had my problems with it, but I didn't think it needed to be canceled. And I think kind of with that show is it got to the end and it was giving you what people always wanted from Star Wars, like Dark Plagueis and this and that, and it was too late because the grifters tried to pivot once they started seeing things that they actually wanted from the franchise come out in that show. They tried to pivot and say, actually, this was a really good episode. But by then, the damage was done. And
Yeah.
I hate to see that happen with Academy, that people just hate on it. And then it gets to the point where it's actually, taking a stride and being really good. And then
Yeah.
the damage is done and it gets canceled. Because unfortunately, these companies, they listen to these grifters and um, make changes according to them because they're the loudest in the room. They may be the small minority, but they're so loud and so vocal online that people tend to go with what they're saying.
I yeah, when it came to Acolyte, I enjoyed I enjoyed everything. Not that we have to go into a Star Wars discussion, but I
On the Star Trek show.
well, the one
I'm
thing
just
I try
kidding.
to always say is boosting the signal is not so much about a
Of one
Star Trek show.
franchise.
Star Trek just kicks the door open a little bit so we can talk about it because I'm not here to gatekeep anything. If you want to talk about, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, I'm gonna talk. And I don't mean that. I don't mean
I
that
love
as
that
something
movie.
wrong. Exactly. I'm looking over at it right now. I have the poster in the back room.
Shut
It's one of
up.
my all-time favorite films. When my son when my son was showing signs that he was ready to come out, I
Mm,
wanted to embrace it. So I was like, okay, let's watch Priscilla. Let's
yeah.
watch Tu Wong Fu. These are my things.
Yes.
Hell, between you and I and everybody else listening, Chichi Rodriguez did things for me that I did not understand. It's like, but
I mean, she was really pretty. Like at the end of that movie, that's a drag queen.
yeah.
When she like does the pageant at the very end, that's a drag queen. Because
Oh yeah.
I feel like the makeup. It's so funny when they do drag in movies. You're always like, as a real drag queen, sometimes the makeup is like you can tell a real drag artist did it. But also, there's another thing that is a factor: the time in which it was made. The drag makeup of the '90s is so vastly different than the drag makeup of now, so
Yeah.
you have to look at it with that scope. But I always find that fascinating to see how those trends have changed. And Chichi Rodriguez, she was hot. She was hot.
I did see before Terrence Stamp passed, they had shot scenes for a sequel
Yeah.
for Priscilla.
Right.
So I'm hoping that that sees the light of day. I'd
I
like to
hope so
see what
too.
happens.
Yes.
Um, but all right, we'll switch gears again. Um, but yeah, Acolyte was good. I liked even Skeleton Crew. I thought that was really good.
Yes.
And like when it comes to Star Wars or even Star Trek shows, I kind of look at them like not they're not all, they don't need to be the same. We don't need a carbon copy
Yes.
of the previous thing. It has to,
Yes.
bring in different
Evolve.
audiences. And
Yes.
like I'll tell you what, I'm a Deep Space Nine guy. I am a Cisco fan. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like I have a whole Cisco section. You can't really see it, but I've got my
Mm-hmm.
Cisco section. And I when Starfleet Academy showed the screen, the Cisco screen,
Mm-hmm.
I stopped, I zoomed in, I read it, I wanted to know everything, and then my heart broke when I saw he had never returned. And
Right.
I'm like, I just, so I think about the implications of that. The way my
Yeah.
mind works is like, poor Cassidy, poor Jake,
Yeah.
and it's like poor unnamed child, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I'm looking to see where I can't wait to see where that goes and how does
I
that tie in?
yes, and it's the first show or anything to really even talk about Cisco,
Yeah.
even bring him up because I think, Avery has made it very clear that he's done for whatever his reasons are. I hope that they can back up a money truck to his house. I don't know what will get him to come back, but I think it would be revolutionary in storytelling, like to see him back on the screen in that uniform or just in that setting. It would just it would do so much for the franchise. I really believe that it would. But to see that was such a nice acknowledgement that DS9 has such a pivotal role in the franchise. Because I feel like for the longest, I remember when Paramount Plus switched over from CBS All Access, and they would do their trailers, their of all the shows and compilations, and DS9 would barely get featured. And I feel like for a long time they were fearful of really highlighting it because they didn't know what to do with it because, you know, all the other actors from all the other shows, they're pretty kind of like omnipresent in the franchise, doing cons, coming back for guest roles in Picard. And Cisco just isn't. Avery is just not. So I don't know if that played a role in it, but it seems like it might have, and like how they would like approach, showing it off
Yeah.
or talking about it. It seemed very like off to the side. Like, let's not talk about that. But now I think they're starting to like show it off more in compilations and little franchise trailers that the Star Trek account will do and things like that. And I'm like, yes, be proud of this show. Like this is your best show as far as like writing and character is concerned. And everybody's mileage may differ. Some may prefer TNG, but in my heart of hearts, I think if you look at the shows in the 90s objectively, DS9 is objectively the best written start to finish. There are obviously some better episodes than others, like any other franchise, but I think it just hit a chord, hit a stride, dealt with things that long form storytelling over 7 seasons. It just hits different. Those characters just hit different.
I think a lot of it too was different character arcs. If you look at DS9, they have the best character arcs. Even if you look at someone like um, let's see, Damar. I think Damar
Mm,
is probably the one I go to the most because Damar starts off as a lackey, and then
yep,
he's a piece of shit, and then he's
yep,
a murderer, and then he's the leader of the Cardassian people. And it's like, how did this happen? And it
yep,
was good writing, you know.
yep.
Um, but I want to say something. I need you to move a little bit over
Oh.
because you're getting off of my screen, and I'm going to end up covering your face a little bit with the graphics. And I'm like, I don't want to cover half your face, but sorry, we'll cut that part
I
out.
drifted. I drifted.
Um, but then, yeah, I mean, and then Kira Nerys, a terrorist, and that
hmm
becomes, you know, for all intents and purposes, the leader of DS9. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that show, and but outside of the show, it was a good father son
Yes.
relationship, and that's what I looked at it for. Is like I grew up wanting Avery Brooks to be my dad. Yeah,
Truly, truly. And like, seeing that example of a black man being a good father was so important growing up in the 90s. I am a product of a single mother. So like that was something that I definitely looked to. And like I didn't watch DS9 all the way through as a kid.
Mhm.
So it was something that I really came back to as an adult. But I did watch it here and there. And I saw enough of it where seeing Jake and Cisco and how he parented him was very meaningful for me personally. Like it really spoke to me. It was like it was nice to see that someone understood that, you don't have to portray a stereotype, like
Yeah.
you can portray this black man being warm and loving and a good father figure to his son. And that means a lot because you don't get that a lot on TV. Um, and then the only other father figure was Worf. So, so we we don't want to look at him as anything as far as examples.
No.
But yeah, like their relationship, and I actually met Ciroc Lofton at the con and for a photo op. And with those photo ops, you get like a second.
Yeah.
But it was still so important to me because I had met him the year prior at the same con, the Creation Star Trek con. And we talked in the hallway. He saw me dressed up as Janeway and things like that. And he started talking to me, and I started, talking to him. And it was just so good. But I was like, this year I have to take a photo with this man because he's one half of a duo that means so much to me. So it was so funny because I walked up to him. I'm dressed as Mariner, and his smile went across his face. He was like, "What is going on?" And I was just like, I forgot what I said to him. I know I said something, but I forgot, and he's just beaming like I somebody commented like he looks more excited to see you, and I was like, internally I'm freaking out, like I'm trying to keep it together. But yeah,
Well,
it was such a good time.
that would be amazing. One of the best things in the recent years that Sirach did in the Seventh Rule was when they started doing Captain Cisco Day.
Hmm.
And it was the ability, especially like the first year, you could write in and send like letters in to Avery, and he was going to
Oh
take them
wow.
to him. And I was like, oh, I cannot wait to do this. It was
Yeah.
like, so I wrote out this long epic, like everything he ever meant to me, because
Yeah.
the reality is, and I don't want to be a bummer, is the reality is they're not going to be with us forever. And
And he
if
doesn't go to cons, so
no,
when can you interact with this man?
yeah, when the Captain's documentary, I'm looking at it as I look up, the when it was Shatner talking with him and playing the piano and such. I love that. I love that that
Hmm.
exists, and it was sad that he wasn't in the What We Left Behind documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, not as anything new,
It's just
but
he's like done.
and I get that. And like if you said they back up a truck full of money and they get him to do something, even if it's just him sitting at his dad's piano,
Hmm.
like maybe that's the world he lives in now. Is he's
Yep.
at Cisco's, Creole, and he's in there just playing piano and giving out wise sage advice. Give it to me. I'll take
Yeah.
it. You
I'll
know.
take it.
But yeah. I wanted to ask something. I've watched a lot of your videos and I've seen a
Uh-oh.
lot of your. Well, no, that's
I'm
great.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know I was gonna say I love like your when you've done the trivia. I love your hair
Hmm.
tutorials that you've
Hmm.
done. Which especially I think my favorite one that I've
Hmm.
watched was the Deanna Troy because I never
Okay.
gave a consideration to how many roles it took to make all that
Yeah.
hair. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking that's an '80s hairdo right there. I mean,
Very,
that's
very 80s, very 90s. And like honestly, if I was to do that hair again, I would take another wig and plop it on the back because she just had so much hair.
wow.
And I was like, I used one wig for that, but it definitely requires two, I think, in my opinion. Especially for a drag queen. But I made it work. But yes, I'm so happy that you love that one.
Oh,
That
yeah,
one did fairly well, honestly. Um, I'm not sure off the top of my head, it might be the best tutorial on YouTube as far
really.
as views. I think, not that I have a ton of views, but I think it did the best.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think.
you have at least a few more from me.
Well, I
But
appreciate it.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, I need to subscribe. I didn't want to like go in to talk to you without being subscribed. I was already subscribed. I was like, all
There we
right,
go.
yeah,
There we
like
go.
It's like, well, I can't resubscribe, but
I
but no,
appreciate it. I truly do because I know YouTube is one of the things that I've like can only put so much time into, unfortunately. And I wish that because I work in theater and things like that when I am working. So once I'm in a show run, it's like I have no time to edit or to film. But right now I'm on an off season. And so by the time this video comes out, since we're talking about YouTube, I will have another YouTube show with another queen, and it's called Observation Lounge. And we should be somewhere either in our second episode or third by this point. Um, but the first episode, we're going to be basically deconstructing our thoughts on Strange New World season 3. And we did each episode, so we're gonna break that up into a few bits, a few videos. But it's if you are familiar with Drag Race Girls, it is kind of like the Katya and Trixie show.
okay,
With the crazy edits and things like that. It's like the Star Trek version of that. And we were fully aware that it was going to be compared to that. And so we even do like our own send up of their like, intro where they're like, I'm this, yada, yada, yada. And it's like really stupid and crazy. And then they say their name. So we did our own send up of that, but like the Star Trek version. And my friend Artie Fisher, she's going to be my co host, and she is hilarious. We met via the internet. She is Chicago based like me. And we just talked for a while, like back and forth on Instagram. And then she was like, hey, girl, do you want to do a show? And I was like, actually, yes, because I find when I'm doing a lot of my YouTube content, if it's not quiz based, if I try to do like a review, I feel kind of bored just talking to the camera. I'm like,
yeah.
it feels kind of dry. And doing with her, it just feels a lot more conversational, a lot more silly, and like a lot more like engaging. Like because I did a couple of reviews on Strange New Worlds, and I was like, I can't do this. One, because I did not really enjoy the season, and it was hurting me to like record that and put that out there. I was like, I don't want to be this like perpetual hater, So I'm gonna step back, and so I saved all my hateful thoughts for that video. But I think
It
it'll
was not a
be
very good season. Not in the whole,
yeah.
like
As a whole, it was kind of like what.
yeah.
I know they had the writer strike. I know that was a hurdle they had to get over. But I had to take it for what it is, and it was not great. It was doo
There was
doo.
some shining moments. I thought we're going to go somewhere. Like I thought Gamble was going to be a good character, and I think that I'm glad he got the highlight in being the villain, as it
For
were.
the actor, that was
Yeah,
great.
that's
Yeah,
great. But I think it would have been more. I mean, we could have had more. To me, it's like, okay,
it
here's a
was a
good
lost
character.
opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
indeed. And even like I've spoken about this in the past with others, but I like Four and a Half Vulcans was an episode that like when I first looked at it, I thought, okay, it's good, it's funny, whatever. But then, Giraffe, I'm sure you know who she is. She spoke, and her words touched my heart, and I was like, I don't like that episode, and I can't watch that episode. It has a
Mm-hmm.
whole new meaning to me now, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they do better with season 4. I really do.
Yeah, that 4.5 Vulcans, it was because I was on the Hailing Frequency podcast, and we talked about that, and it it just was so brain dead in its like thought process and what it was trying to do. And it felt like a very first draft. It was like someone had an idea and they wrote out a rough script, and they probably because of the writer's strike, they just went with that.
Yeah.
It was very odd in the way that they basically said your Vulcan cultural identity is wrapped up in your DNA. And if that's the message that they're trying to portray, what does that say for humans? What does that say for any other race in Star Trek? And I know people like to hand wave it. It's just, you're it's just a joke, blah blah blah. But like we have to look at Star Trek with a little more critical of an eye, because Star Trek is a thought-provoking show. And typically they are trying to get you to think about the real world and real issues through the lens of these aliens space, etc. And to just, give it a pass when it fails is not, it's it's not fair to the viewer, it's not fair to the show. It's okay to call your favorite thing out when it deserves to be called out. It's okay. Like it doesn't, you can't bat 100 every time. You're gonna have a doo-doo kind of episode. You're gonna have a bad one,
Yeah.
and this was a bad one. It's okay. Like we've had bad episodes before. It doesn't make me hate the franchise. I don't hate Strange New Worlds, but like I have to acknowledge, like if somebody's gonna ask me what'd you think of it, I'm gonna be like, it is not the best. We can hope to do more and better, but
Well, we can all agree there are episodes of Star Trek we skip,
oh, for
like,
real.
yeah.
I've been watching
No.
Enterprise and there's quite a few.
Well, for the most part, like, I've had people ask me, like, hey, actually, it was about a year ago because it was in my Facebook memories. Someone had texted me out of the blue and said, I thought about watching Star Trek. Where should I start? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna love this
That's the
question.
question. That's
It
the
was like,
question.
I said, well, and I'm like, you could probably skip season 1 and 2 of TNG. You can skip
Mm-hmm.
season 1.5 of DS9.
Yep.
It's like there's certain ones, but I'll make you a whole list if you want it.
Yeah.
But um, don't
I feel
watch Code
like,
of Honor.
yeah, don't watch. I haven't seen that episode, I think, since I was a teenager, maybe before. I feel like when because someone asked me that recently at work, they were like, "I've been wanting to ask you where should I start," and I honestly, I go off of because people have asked me this enough, and I asked them in return, well, let me ask you, what kind of shows do you like? Do you like action? Do you like something that's going to be slower, more methodical, and provoking? Because if you like the action and you are more geared to watch something that has a more modern sensibility, more modern camera work, special effects, I always say Discovery or Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
If you want something, if old camera work and you want something a little more relaxing, TNG, you know, and then branch off from there. Those are my two. Like, because I feel like this DS9 might be a little bit too intense in its storytelling and a bit slower when it starts. Um, and for TNG, I feel like you get that perfectly packaged Star Trek 90s like vibe where it's just like the quintessential 90s Star Trek. With Discovery or Strange New Worlds, you get the modern, you get the action, you get everything looks very nice and the camera work is beautiful. So like if that's what you're into, watch those. Those are my two like entry points. Because I feel like, most modern audiences who are asking this question, they're probably not gonna want to start with Kirk. They're probably not gonna want to start with the movies. I feel like the movies is just like a watered down version of the shows. So it's better to start with the shows. And yeah, I feel like Voyager could be a good entry point as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like Voyager probably builds off of TNG and DS9 a lot more. So start with TNG or the new stuff.
I've been doing a lot of rewatching of Voyager. I'm just about done with season 5, and I'm noticing. I think I'm seeing it through a different eye. It's not like the first time I've ever watched it, obviously, but like I watched an episode recently where 7 and 9 had accused someone of something, and they had
Oh, is
they
it
were
that weapons
yeah,
guy? They were
yeah,
selling, yeah, and she accused him of assaulting her. Yeah.
and he had not done it, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that really is timeless, because it works out really well with the Me Too era and
Yeah.
everything else. And I just thought, man, and never gave it a thought. Like, to me, that was always an episode that was just kind of like it was there,
It was
but
not
now,
a prominent one. Yeah.
yeah. But it, upon retrospective, it's really a good episode.
That
Even
episode is interesting because it's like it leads you down so many different conclusions that kind of like switch up at the end.
yeah,
And you're kind of left feeling like, well, what was.
there, there's no villain. When
Yeah.
you get down
You're
to it,
kind of
there's no
like,
villain.
and
No
then
one
he
has
ends up,
actually done anything wrong
yeah.
except Seven in a way.
Yeah, and
But
then you feel bad because it like makes you I feel like that episode is weird because like you were talking about, it kind of touches the Me Too moment, the Me Too era and all of
yeah,
that. But I feel like at the end you're kind of left to turn around and look at Seven and be like, look at all this stuff you caused, like it's going back and blaming her. So
yeah,
I feel iffy about that one
yeah. It's
because it's
all over the
making her
place.
look like she just made up all of this stuff essentially. And I'm like, that doesn't really help, people learn to trust the victim. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's weird. It's a weird one. It because I feel like they wanted to like have the victim story and talk about that, but then at the end also turn around and say, actually, the victim is wrong. Like, so it was kind of crazy how they
I've
did that
been
one.
I've been following the Voidcast podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and it's two ladies that are going back and they're rewatching all of Voyager for the first time. They've
Mm-hmm.
never watched it, and I love it. I love hearing their thoughts on things and how much they hate Neelix. And but but
I don't think I hate Neelix. I actually don't mind Neelix.
I think Neelix when he was with Kess was a little weird. Like
Yeah,
I look at it now and I kind of want to do this a lot.
it's
Like
questionable. It's
yeah.
questionable. And he was very jealous and controlling in ways.
Oh yeah. The
You
jealousy
know,
is hard to watch. It
it
really
is.
is.
It
It's
is. I think
but
that was them grasping at straws for drama.
yeah. I
Um,
look forward to when they get to that seven episode. I want to hear a female perspective
mm-hmm.
because I mean I feel I don't have a voice. I've never been
Right.
uh, assaulted, nor have I
Right.
assaulted, and so like I look forward to a
Getting,
perspective.
yeah, to see like what that actually feels like. Because if I'm feeling that way, I wonder how someone who's been through that would respond because like I was saying, it just leaves me with a weird taste in my mouth at the end of the episode because she's so adamant throughout the episode and the episode leads you to believe that she is correct and no one is believing her until they do, and it takes a lot for them to actually side with her. And then when they do, he runs making it look like he's guilty, but ultimately he's not, and then you're just kind of left feeling like, well, what is this episode really trying to say about, listening to victims, especially when they basically turn around and say the victim made it all up essentially. So
Yeah,
it's kind of iffy one. um, but it's a thought provoking one because we're talking about it, and I knew
exactly.
exactly what episode you're talking about when you brought it up. So it clearly I remember watching that as a teenager, and I was like, this is crazy. Because like Seven was my girl growing up, so I was like, don't hurt, don't mess with Seven, like So I was like, what's going on? What are you doing?
I am curious. You've talked about your love of Cisco and such, and now Seven of Nine. Do you have an absolute favorite character in the Star Trek franchise?
Oh my god, that's a hard one. I don't know if I have a favorite. If I was to pick one, recently I did give the answer of Seven.
Okay.
Um, but it's like I love Cisco, I love Janeway, obviously. But if I'm really, I love T'Pol too, and I've been watching a lot of Enterprise with my partner, so she's been omnipresent lately. Um, but there's something about Seven and like her story and her resilience and her no nonsense bluntness, and that I just appreciate. She's vastly intelligent, and seeing her evolution in Picard was, I thought, some of the best things Picard did. Um, Seeing how she went from Fenris Ranger to, being the captain of the G, and I guess we'll never get Legacy, you know.
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed, fingers crossed. I don't need Legacy, but it would be nice. It would be nice. But yeah, like Seven is just one of those characters that I think she was brought in obviously for one intention to boost ratings and sex appeal, but ended up being written so well and acted so well that she clearly resides in people's minds and hearts because she came back and killed it yet again. So it's got to be seven, I think. If I had to pick one,
Now, have you ever donned her persona, shall we say?
it's been in the back of my head. It's something that I need to do. I want to do. I'm next on my docket, if I can get the prosthetic right, is Balana. But I'm trying to get through all of this content for Christmas and whatnot before I start fussing with more prosthetics because I'm doing a prosthetic this weekend. But the prosthetic I ordered, it came painted. And I think that was a mistake because
Yeah.
it's a little like the texture of it is not right. And I don't know if painting over it will make it any better. Probably make it look worse. So I don't know.
Without having any knowledge of what it is, but the material it's made of, are you able to strip the paint?
So it's made out of foam latex. So I probably have to Google what could strip that off without destroying the piece.
Okay.
And I just haven't had time to look into it, but I probably can do that and figure it out because it's like painted a pinky flesh color, and I'm like, obviously I was gonna have to paint in my skin tone, because the base piece is like, like a flesh tone, white flesh tone, but the paint just added this like scraggly texture to it, and I'm just like, that's just gonna look bumpy and patchy in places. So
Yeah.
I need to get rid of that and then try and move forward with it, but we'll see.
Well, I look forward to it.
But
Hopefully,
yeah,
it works out.
I
But
hope so.
yeah, I'd like to see how that turns out. You have made mentioned in the past with other interviews you have done that you work in, and even today you've worked in
Mhm.
theater and opera and television. What have you done that where?
So I have worked at the opera here in Chicago, the Lyric Opera. I've done that off and on since 2016. Um and I've started, working on chorus. Now I'm up to doing like principals and things like that, principal singers. And it's just been like a roller coaster and a huge learning experience. Like I owe a lot of the experience that I have of learning how to do hair. I went to college school, but like this is really where I got the bulk of my experience. And I've done a little bit of TV. I've done a few weeks on a show called the 4400, um doing
I
background
have every
hair
episode right there.
of the new one.
Oh, I don't have any of
I
those.
was I was a teenager when that one came out. But I remember it and I watched it. But yeah, I worked on for a few weeks doing the background. TV is not my jam personally. It's very much like the timing of it, like you're just there for long, long days.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I think I like theater more. I like the like it's like this contained thing that happens for a time and then it just disappears, like on the stage. Like you do your thing, people come and see it. It's not recorded. It's like you have to experience it and then that's it. And also you get in, you get out, you do your job. So I love that. In between, seasons, there was a point where I worked for a wig company in 2018 through like 2020 or something like that. Then I came back. So I've been just doing that. And yeah, and I also style wigs for my good friend Miss Kimora Hall. So I do wigs for her. That's who I'm doing the Grinch stuff with this weekend. So when this comes out, that'll be, way Christmas has already happened. So hopefully it looks good.
But everybody can go back and watch it
Go back and look
retroactively
at
too,
go
you
back
know.
and boost the likes.
Exactly. Likes, views, everything.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes,
promote it too. Don't
yes.
worry.
You're the best. But yeah, so I've gotten that's why at a certain point, like a couple of summers ago, I started doing the tutorials because I was like, what can I do to, give back, but also like, enjoy making content. And I was like, I'm making this wig anyway. I might
Yeah.
as well record it, and show somebody like a way to do it, And also, I'm still learning. I don't know everything. So it's fun to see how people respond to it and like things they might share, like, oh, you could do this better. And even my coworkers, like, it's a good way for them to be like, oh, like, I could do that instead of doing this and it's faster. Or they give me tips on how to do something. So it's like my own little like hair university. It's like I'm teaching, but I'm also learning at the same time. So
Well, you mentioned in your Boimler wig tutorial that you were having difficulty with the shorter hair. You didn't like cutting men's hair and stuff like because
yes,
it's so short and pretty much you
it's
cut too short and you make a
it's
mistake,
it's it's exactly, and it's really easy to just go like it's done. The wig is ruined. And thankfully that I'm looking at it across the room right now. And she's seen better days. But yeah, like that I was so happy with how that came out. Like, I cannot stress enough. That was like, I hadn't cut a men's cut in like years. So I was like, this is all on instinct and all on like, I watched a couple of videos, but also like, for the top of it, I really couldn't go off of like cutting like a real man's haircut because I still needed it to be full enough, long enough to make this weird shape, you know, because I had this big hair that I based off of Mariner's live action look. And I was thinking of taking his style in the live action version, but I'm like, if my hair is so large and his hair is so small, it's not gonna read together in the way that I want. So
right?
I was like, let me do a mix of live and a mix of the cartoon for him. And so that's where I was like, let's make it huge. Let's like make it spike up and swoop and all of that stuff. And I think that was honestly what really tied that look together for the two of us. So, and thankfully, my boyfriend is always down to clown. So he's always really like, let's do it.
Well, and I assume that that is your partner in the videos that I've
Yep.
seen, like with
Yep.
Moopsie and everything. Okay, all
That
right,
is
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yep.
he does well. He does well.
He
Uh,
does. Like he's really impressed me and just I don't know, he's just eager to help me. It's very supportive.
well, that's good, and that's what that's all anybody needs in life
Hmm.
is just someone to support
To
them, and
believe in them, yeah.
yeah,
Like it may be like, this dumb video that we're doing right now. It's just for like the shits and giggles, but who knows where it might go,
yeah.
and
Well,
who may
that's
see
like
it.
I don't. When I started this, it was not about me. My whole
Yeah.
goal is not like I don't want you to look at me. I want you to look at you, and I want to help other people. I'm not a big voice. I don't have a big voice. I don't have a big
But it's
audience.
it's ever growing, and
Exactly.
and same for me. Like I feel like it could be bigger, right?
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere. And I think what you provide is a resource for the community. And ever since we've started talking and like, going back and forth on Instagram, you've always been so kind and like boosted me when I needed it without even asking. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And like you do that for so many in the community and like that will come back to you because that's just how energy works. So
I do what I
it's only a
can.
matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Well, hopefully, is if you can get one, if you can catch the attention of one person, that's winning.
Yep.
So and that's all we can ask for in life, I guess. I do want to touch on one other thing
Hmm.
because we wrap everything up, and that is, um, in your videos, I have noticed a Sailor Moon statue in the background of one of your videos. My wife saw it, and she is a big
Uh-huh.
Sailor Moon fan, so that got pointed out to me immediately, and so I started wondering, like, what outside of Star Trek is your
Am I
main,
into?
yeah, your main thing?
So I will tell you, those are my partners.
Okay.
So just like your partner's into it, my partner's into it. Everything about Sailor Moon on paper, I should love because I love Super Sentai. I love Power Rangers. And that's basically the made for girls version of that.
Yeah.
And I just can't get into it. I just can't. I can't. I try so hard. I've tried. I don't hate it, but like I when I watch it, I tend to roll my eyes. Because a lot of things are just weird in it. Like,
Yeah.
there's weird shit in Star Trek, but there's, the whole plot of like Chibi Moon, who's like from the future, but hitting on Mamoru, who's her dad. So it's got that anime weirdness. It's got that anime weirdness that I'm just like, yeah, I'm a pass.
I
So,
get it. I get it. I didn't I don't really care for it, but yet like I have an ex of mine got me into Inuyasha, and
mm,
I like that. That one's okay
mm,
for me, and it's pretty much just as weird, but yet,
yeah,
you know.
I've
So
watched Inuyasha and I like that more than Sailor Moon. I've
yeah.
never watched it all the way through, but I've definitely watched it. But as far as things that I love outside of Star Trek, I like Star Wars. We talked about that. I like Super Sentai. I've really been trying over this past year. I found a site. We're not gonna say which site where you can watch them, and they're not dubbed. They're subbed. They're subbed,
Okay.
and they have just about the full catalog from like the 70s until now where you can watch these episodes. So it's been a great resource. What else am I into? I like the X-Men. I love superheroes. I'm like looking at my own tower of figures. I'm like, what am I into?
So what we got
Um
over here?
um because yeah, I have a Jean statue. I love Lady Gaga. I love the Little Mermaid. Like, I grew up with the Little Mermaid. It's like my favorite Disney franchise. When Holly Bailey got casted as the Little Mermaid, I was in tears because I literally felt like this was made for like little black Eric as a little boy watching the movie on repeat, having my parents hide the VHS for me. That movie was made for me. Now, was it the best Little Mermaid movie? Some things could have been done better, but
And
it still spoke to me.
Little Mermaid's
Um,
fine, but my wife hates it when I talk about it because I explain to her every time we watch it, I'm like, she's giving up her voice for a vagina. Yeah, and she's like, stop it. Just stop it. Yeah, like, but that's what she's doing.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. She literally is trying to like get a man,
Yeah.
and it like and when you overanalyze it for like 2 seconds, when you not even overanalyze, when you think about that movie for more than 2 seconds, you're like, this is terrible. This is sending the wrong message. But what else? I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I
Uh,
love aliens. I love aliens. Like the xenomorph and all of that.
I
I'm
still
into
need to
that.
watch Romulus. I haven't watched that
Oh,
or the
it's really
series.
good. It's pretty good. The series, I'm gonna tell you right now, maybe halfway, it's really good. Maybe up until episode 5. And then it starts to taper off in story quality. Like the finale, I'm like,
See,
it's like,
that's why nowadays we
yeah.
don't get 26 episode seasons of shows.
Yeah, and I think that's to the detriment of shows like Strange New Worlds and like this Alien show, because they're forcing everything into like such a small quantity of episodes. That I
Okay, so
think that
wait a
else.
minute. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Well,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about it before I don't lose my thought. Do you think Strange New Worlds would have been better if they would have taken the Doctor Who route and only did 6 episodes?
For this season,
Yeah,
I think that would have hurt it more,
really.
honestly. I
Okay,
think
okay.
so. I think they were trying to tell an epic story with these demons and the whole connection between that and the Gorn and this and that. That's still kind of foggy for me, because what were those entities in the bottles that looked kind of like Gorn but weren't Gorn?
Well, here's the thing too.
Um
Were they Q? I mean, like, because it was supposed to be the
It
Q
was,
home
yeah, it
planet.
was a Q home. We found out that's the old home planet of the Q. So what? So did the Q have a war with this species and then imprison them? You know, and then like the alien who was the kind of like their guide. He had never been in this temple, but he knew what the statue in the other room. He had seen that before and knew that that meant something bad.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a lot of things did not coalesce in the finale and make sense. I thought when Patel and Gamble were going to, when they squared off and they had their fight, that they were gonna like explain what that was really about, but it didn't go in the route that I thought it was gonna go. Yeah, it
No,
just
it
was
didn't
kind
go
of
the way I
like,
wanted it to either. I thought
yeah,
Patel was going to be a Gorn. I thought she was going to be the Gorn that
like,
fought Kirk. I was waiting for her to show up in that
yeah,
gold dress or something.
yeah. That
Yeah,
made the most sense, and then that would explain. I thought that's what I was sure as shit that that's where they were going.
same
That
here.
that was gonna explain the look and difference of the Gorn from TOS to Strange the World. But she turned into a Christmas tree ornament and was the Dark Phoenix all of a sudden and just knew how to do these things.
Oh,
And also, it was very ill defined what Gamble's powers were. He was just, it felt like I was watching a supernatural show in the finale
yeah.
that really wasn't explained. Because Gamble shoots Pike in the chest full on, and Pike just kind of like curls up. He's like, but like, what was these like energy bursts, this like smoke projectiles? Like, what was it? Like,
Gamble power.
yeah, like, and also like the processing they did on his voice. His voice was too soft to be menacing or scary. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I
it's a hot mess. The whole damn season's a hot mess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
it
and
was such a shame.
I look forward to your reviews of it. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. I will be watching.
Yes,
Um, but
you're
I
in
have
for
to
a
say that,
treat.
yeah, that's just gonna say it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it
This show
because
is definitely not PG-13. We are definitely cursing up a storm on this one, so you'll really enjoy it if you like Potty Mouse.
yeah, we're kind of a PG-13 here. You get one swear word per
Yes,
episode.
I tried to keep it as cute as I could.
So it's nice when I post the audio version. They let me put that little e next to it, whether or not it's explicit. And
Oh,
I didn't have to do that until I think it was like my sixth episode. Someone dropped an F bomb, and I'm just like, I
who
don't want
was
to
it?
edit
Who was the
that
Potty
out.
Mouth?
I was like, I don't want to edit this out. Just put an
Just
E.
keep it. Just keep it.
Yeah, although my mom, she always tells me I owe her a quarter for every swear word,
Oh,
so I don't want to give her any money. So
okay. I won't say anymore. I know I said one.
that's all right. It's okay. We'll leave it in. I appreciate your time. I really
Of
do.
course.
Would you like to tell everybody where to find you, all your ads, all your information?
Yes, 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 yes. So I like to keep it simple because some of my handles are slightly different. But if you search for me on Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube, if you just type in my name, Anna double N-A Rozay, spelled Rozay, you will find me and I will be there waiting. I'm there. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads. That's where you can find me. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I gave that up because I just couldn't handle it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where you can find me. And for the new show, our new show is going to be called Observation Lounge 2, and I'm doing this with Artificial. And I'll give you all the links for that or ads so you can post those below so you guys can find us. We have a YouTube channel, we have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, and they should be easy to find as they are all at Observation Lounge too.
All
So,
right.
yep,
That sounds good. Yeah, everything will be below and on the screen and everything else. And if you're listening, if you're one of the listeners, thank you so much for listening.
yes, thank
Go
you.
ahead and click that subscribe button now. But yeah, and make sure you go and give Anna Rozay all the follows and all the love. And I look forward to seeing those numbers go up after this episode. We need
Yes,
the
me
numbers to
too.
go
And
up.
same for you, babe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. If you're listening, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Tell your grandma too. Go over to you guys.
I
Like,
say the same thing.
it's like just tell your grandma. Yeah,
Just tell
I
everybody.
love it when you say you're a big old nerd, and if you're here, then so are you. So am I.
Yep,
You know.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I pay attention. I pay attention.
I
So
love it. I love it. I love a man who does research. So thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.